ready, my asylum patients? Gothic Slenderman. The horror movie series Final Destination is about someone who has planned to take part in or go to a certain event. This person, however, has a vision of a massacre that plays in their mind. This causes a freak out, and this individual, with multiple others, leave the scene just to see that their vision came true. After this, the survivors die one by one after cheating death. But did you know there are actually real cases similar to this? Now, none of these people have seen a vision of a massacre that they would survive. These are more cases of people who have just survived a massacre and died shortly after. These are the top 10 real Final Destinations. Sigurd the Mighty of Orkney, a Viking who had just left his most recent battle. Sigurd secured the head of one of his victims on the horse's saddle, though, as he rode off into the sunset, the decapitated head grinded its teeth on his leg and caused a cut, which became infected. In those times, we didn't have the right forms of medication to deal with simple scratches or infections, and some could even lead to death. Hilda Yolanda Mayol was one of the few survivors of the 9/11 attack in New York City. Her death is kind of ironic in that sense. 2 months later, she had been killed when the American Airlines flight number 587 to be specific, crashed in New York. Daredevils always do insane stunts, and when you hear that they have passed away, most would think that they died doing what they love. This is not the case of Bobby Leach, who even survived going over Niagara Falls in a barrel. In 1911, he slipped on an orange peel. This broke his leg, in which had to be amputated. However, complications of the surgery caused his demise. My apologies if I butcher this person's name, but Miss Fagaliu Mukhamedzinov was declared dead by mistake. She awoke at her own funeral and was so scared by what she saw, she had a heart attack and died. In 2013, a large tornado had swept through the town of Moore. After the tornado, the mother and father of a 5-year-old boy thought that their son was gone. They moved 2,000 miles away to Oklahoma, but it turns out that the boy had actually survived and was being taken care of by an Arkansas native, Lynn Guiley. Not too long afterwards, something upset the boy and caused him to have a temper tantrum. Lynn was trying to calm the child down, however the boy's screaming upset her 150-pound bulldog, which thought the boy's screaming was an attack on its owner. So it lunged at the boy and punctured his neck. Miss Guiley tried to pry the dog off, but it was already too late. A Jamaican politician, Marcus Garvey, had received a supposed obituary for him that said he died broke, alone, and unpopular. This would of course startle anyone, though, after this, Marcus had suffered 2 strokes in his life and eventually croaked. Now whether or not he was broke, alone, or unpopular at the time is beyond me. For some reason, plane crashes are the most popular thing in these situations. Ironic, since the first movie had an airplane crash. This situation is no different, as in 1977 an entire basketball team of the University of Evansville had all been killed when their flight had crashed. All except for one member who was not on board. A few weeks later, though, this last basketball player had been struck by a drunk driver in an unrelated incident. Johanna Gonthaler and her husband Kurt missed their flight to return home from a vacation in Brazil. This flight was a LAR France Flight 447, which crashed in the Atlantic, killing all 228 people on board. 2 weeks later, on the road of Kufstein, Austria, when their car swerved and crashed into an oncoming truck, which killed Joanna and left Kurt badly injured. In 2013, Jessica de Lima Roll was about to attend a Brazilian nightclub that she helped organize. For some reason, though, her partner did not want her to go to this nightclub. Despite organizing the event, she gladly agreed. Only a few hours later, news broke out that the nightclub had caught a flame after a band member shot a firework on stage and lit the foam ceiling, and about 238 people could not escape, had died. However, only 5 days after the fire, Jessica and her boyfriend had a head-on collision with a truck. This is the closest case that I could find that most resembles the films. In June 2012, Jessica Redfield was at the Eaton Centre Mall in Toronto when she got a bad feeling about something. She left due to her uncomfortable state. This was only moments before a gunman opened fire in the courtroom she was in. She even wrote in a statement in her blog that this almost sickening feeling saved her. Unfortunately, she died a month later, as one of the 12 people who were killed in the Aurora, Colorado movie theater. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and maybe you appreciate your living state a bit more. Why is that? Because it could all end any second. Are you ready, my asylum patients?